Does it feel like your salary just vanishes? One minute it's in your account, and the next it's been completely swallowed by groceries, petrol, and bills that never stop climbing. You're working harder than ever, but just keeping your head above water feels like a daily battle. While you're fighting to afford the present, a much bigger financial storm is gathering on the horizon. The hard truth, according to South Africa's National Treasury, is that a staggering 94% of the population is not on track to ever retire comfortably. That leaves just a tiny 6% who will be able to stop working and maintain their standard of living. This isn't a crisis of laziness, it's a crisis of affordability. For the vast majority of South Africans, the primary reason they can't save is simple. There is nothing left at the end of the month. Rising expenses are a grave concern, with inflation growing faster than salaries, putting a constant strain on households. The dream of a peaceful retirement is being eroded by the persistent anxiety over the rising cost of living, forcing people to work until they are 80 or depend on their families for support. So, how did we get here? And how can you plan for a future that seems so unaffordable? In this video, we're exposing how the relentless rise in the cost of living has become a silent killer of retirement dreams. We'll uncover how even those who are saving are losing money to high fees. They don't even know their pay. Stick around, because what you're about to hear is crucial for anyone who hopes to one day stop working. So, how did we get to a point where a comfortable retirement is about as likely as winning the lottery? The most obvious villain, the one we all feel every single day, is the relentless cost of living. Year after year, 70% of people without a retirement plan say they have nothing left over at the end of the month. When South Africa's economy sees inflation growing faster, with salaries, the dream of saving for the future gets crushed by the reality of surviving today. But this crisis runs deeper than just today's bills. It's built on a series of critical mistakes that have become the norm. The first is the mistake of time. Many of us think of retirement as a problem for our older selves. A survey found many South Africans only start thinking about it at the age of 40. Financial experts say you should start with your first or second salary in your early 20s. Why? Because of the magic of compound interest, the interest you earn on your interest. Starting late means you miss out on decades of this growth, making it almost impossible to catch up. The second, and perhaps most destructive habit, is treating our retirement fund like a personal ATM. In South Africa, when people change jobs, it's tragically common to cash out their pension savings. Over half of people changing jobs admit to doing it. Every time this happens, the compounding clock is reset to zero. It's like uprooting a tree every few years and wondering why it never provides any shade. This single mistake is one of the biggest reasons people find themselves at retirement age with a tiny fraction of what they need. These two issues are compounded by a widespread lack of knowledge. 2/3 of adults admit their retirement plan is vague or they don't have one at all. Many don't even know what they're aiming for. For perspective, financial experts suggest you'd need a lump sum of at least 7.5 million rand to retire at 63 and draw a modest pre-tax income of 25,000 rand a month. This leads to a major flaw in planning. People don't know what they're aiming for. Experts might mention a target like 7.5 million rand to retire comfortably, but what comfortably means is critical. With the vast difference in the cost of living between urban and rural South Africa, that 7.5 million rand might only be enough if you plan on retiring in a quieter, less expensive part of the country. For those accustomed to a city lifestyle, the real number could be significantly higher. But even if you avoid these pitfalls, there are silent killers secretly eating away at your savings. The first is the vampire of high fees. An incredible 37% of people with retirement savings have no idea what they're paying in annual fees. Even more shocking, 13% believe they aren't being charged any fees at all. These fees, often presented as a small percentage like 2% or 3%, can be devastating over the long term. The second hidden trap is, ironically, being too safe. As people enter their late 30s and 40s, many become scared of the stock market and move their investments into conservative, low-risk assets. But with inflation running high, these safe investments often don't grow fast enough. meaning your money is actually losing purchasing power every single year. And these issues are even worse for women. Surveys consistently show that women are less likely than men to have a retirement plan. While they tend to be excellent savers, they are less likely to invest in higher growth assets like stocks, which ultimately harms their ability to beat inflation over the long term. Even for those who manage to save, the victory is often short-lived. A huge portion of retirement lump sums disappears almost instantly. 1 in 3 people take debt with them into retirement, and many use their 1/3 cash payout simply to settle those accounts. Beyond that, many South Africans use their retirement funds to build or renovate a home, often for their extended family. While noble, this means the capital that was supposed to generate an income for the rest of their life is spent in a matter of months. So, what is the real-world consequence of all this? The optimistic retirement age of 65 is becoming a fantasy. A major study by Sanlam, looking at over 300,000 members, delivered a bombshell conclusion. For most South Africans, the true retirement age is now closer to 80. Let me repeat that. You might have to work until you are 80. The report shows that the average South African is on track to achieve a replacement ratio of only 25% at age 65. A replacement ratio is the percentage of your final salary you'll get as an income in retirement. The industry benchmark for a comfortable life is 75%. A 25% ratio isn't just tightening your belt, it's a catastrophic drop in your standard of living. It means facing your so-called golden years with only a quarter of the income you were used to. This creates a future where a majority of older citizens can't afford to stop working, where they become financially dependent on their children, entrenching the sandwich generation phenomenon, where middle-aged people are squeezed between supporting their kids and their own parents. It's a bleak picture, a perfect storm of a tough economy, destructive habits, and a general lack of awareness. A retirement crisis that affects almost every single one of us. It's a bleak picture, isn't it? A future where you might have to work until you're 80, where retirement is a luxury you can't afford. It's easy to hear all of this and feel completely overwhelmed, maybe even hopeless. But the goal of this isn't to scare you, it's to arm you. Because burying your head in the sand is the surest way to let this grim future become your reality. The truth is, you have more power than you think. Avoiding this trap isn't about some secret trick. It's about understanding the rules of the game and taking deliberate action. So what can you actually do? First, you need a plan. Financial planning isn't just for the wealthy, it's for everyone who wants to have choices later in life. While around a third of South Africans use a financial advisor, it's a crucial step to consider. An advisor can help you understand what you're paying in fees, set a clear target, and keep you accountable. But even if you don't use an advisor, you must educate yourself. We live in an age with endless information available on podcasts, websites, and social media. A thirst for knowledge is crucial. Second, and this is the most important part, you must start now. It does not matter how small the amount is, just start. The advice is to begin contributing as early as your second salary. Starting early gives you 2 incredible advantages. You can take on more risk in higher growth portfolios, and you give the magic of compound interest the one thing it needs to work: time. Once you start, be disciplined. That means you have to resist the temptation to withdraw your retirement funds when you change jobs. This habit is so destructive that new regulations, called the two-pot system, have been introduced. From September 1st, 2024, 2/3 of your contributions will be locked away in a retirement component that you can only access when you retire. Third, you have to be smart with your money. This starts with becoming obsessed with understanding fees. High investment fees can silently eat away at your savings, and force you to work for longer. Question everything. Ask your provider what the effective annual cost is. If they can't tell you, that's a massive red flag. Also, ensure you have the right asset allocation. To get the inflation-beating growth needed for a comfortable retirement, it is essential to hold both South African and international shares as your highest asset class. Finally, take control of your entire financial life. Create a ruthless budget to see where every rand is going and cut the costs that aren't providing value. Take advantage of tax benefits, such as those offered by tax-free investments. And in today's gig economy, look for opportunities to bring in a second or third stream of income. The world is changing, and the old idea of working for one company and getting a gold watch at 65 is long gone. Financial planning is now about adapting to a constantly shifting world. The journey to a secure retirement is a marathon, not a sprint. It won't be easy, but it is not impossible. The key factors are time, knowledge, and discipline. The sooner you take that first step to tackle your own retirement plan, the better your retirement days will be. Your future self is depending on the choices you make today.